Mr. Ciscomani.
Thank you, Chairman. I ended the last round by saying that the federal government is failing, and I really stand by that. That means that they're failing everyone. I mean, they're failing all of you here by not doing what needs to be done to protect. They're also failing our agents, though. They're failing our Border Patrol agents and those that are in the front line fighting hard, and those in law enforcement as well. And I would even venture to say that they're failing those that are seeking an opportunity of a better life in this country. They're absolutely failing everyone. There's no win on this one for really anyone. One of the, in talking about our agents here, one of the main efforts, I came here shortly after starting my first term just a few months ago, and one of the first things I did was meet with our Border Patrol agents and law enforcement. We had a combined meeting. One of the things that I heard was the need to do something about making it illegal for making it a federal crime for evading law enforcement when they're fleeing. We talk about these high-speed chases. We need to tackle the root issue, which is, again, the social media aspect, but also increasing penalties on those that are fleeing law enforcement, because right now it's not. And I think many of the people in the room were shocked, including myself, that it's not even a federal crime to do so. So that's one of the things that we've taken immediate action on. Now, Mr. Ladd, talking about penalties to those that are breaking the law here, we talked about those transporting people, but also on the spotter side. I visited your ranch. I've been there several times, and you've taken me around in several aspects of it. I got to see the wall stacked up there that was there for a long time without being used. One of the other things you showed me was the activity that you can see on the other side, and the activity by these spotters, because I also have a bill here that will increase penalties for those people that are enabling and participating in the spotting system. Can you talk a little bit about the spotters, please?
Well, it's widespread on the whole border, and yeah, they got good optics. They're dedicated to. They'll be at their outposts for 2 weeks at a time, and they've got really good cell service, so they're in communication with the rest of the smuggling crew. And when they don't see law enforcement or Border Patrol, they go for it. Mm-hmm. And they're on my ranch. They're in the mountains above us, out where we were this morning, and nobody can touch them. And even the Mexican army won't touch them. But they know exactly what's going on. They know how many people are on the border. They know how many people they got crossing at any given time. They stage it. Example on our ranch is the first shift of Border Patrol in the morning. They're going to catch 3 groups. They're going to be tied up an hour and a half. And while they're processing that group waiting for transport, there's going to be 5 groups that go right past them.
Exactly. We've seen that, and that's exactly what they're reporting as well. I'm going to try to fit in 2 more points. Mr. Arthur, real quick here, you talked about the impact on the legal system here, on the legal part of becoming a resident and eventually a citizen. I know that system well. I was born in Mexico, and I actually became a United States citizen in 2006. And then I became a U.S. congressman in 2022, 16 years later. This is the best country in the world. This country is a welcoming country. It's a country of laws as well, of being gracious and being welcoming of so many people around the world. And I can tell you firsthand how many holes and things we need to fix on the legal side of becoming a United States citizen, given that my family and I got here years and years before. I got here as a young child, and it took us that long to be able to finally become U.S. citizens. Now, I know that firsthand because I went through it. I started as a child and became a citizen when I was an adult. So on this impact that the illegal activity right now is having on the legal side of people that have been in the waiting list and on line basically for so long, can you talk just briefly on that? And I want to get one more point in, if you may.
Absolutely. One, the Gallup organization does polling on whether people want impressions of immigrants to the United States. That polling has taken a very dire turn, and a plurality of Americans now want to see less legal immigration in the United States, which is bad. We want to, continue to bring in the vibrancy to this country. But there are a couple of other aspects of that very briefly, Mr. Ciscomani. One is we have so many asylum claims that are pending before the Immigration Court, before USCIS. A large number of people who want to bring their family to the United States, who want to come to the United States legally, their applications are stuck in that backlog. They are truly suffering. At the ports, we have legitimate travelers who want to cross the border into the United States. Right now, CBP-1, we've heard talked about, 1,450 interviews per day, and you could show up anytime during a 23-hour period. You can imagine what effect that's going to have on the ports on the other side and on the ability to stop the fentanyl that Mr. Timmons had talked about before. If you're pulling those agents off to talk to somebody who doesn't have any right to be here, you're going to slow up that system.
Thank you. I'm out of time. The last point I want to make, because several of you mentioned it, and I think it's important food for thought here for my colleagues on, and also for everyone here. Several of everyone here brought up the point of Mexico and their role in all this, and how when they were cooperating just a few years ago, things were a lot better. And the diplomacy needed here, and also them being our number one trading partner, living on the border like all of us do here, is an asset, not a liability. And it shouldn't be seen as a liability, but it's become one in a lot of ways due to this lack of enforcement. So we need to continue to work, and Mexico needs to work with us as well in order to live on their, live up to their end of the securing the border piece as well. And with that, Mr. Chair, once again, thank you so much for bringing the attention to the border and for bringing both subcommittees here to CD6 in Arizona. Thank you so much. Thanks to the witnesses as well.
Thank you very much.